means terrible, dangerous.
They celebrate death like something. When people fear and mourn for death, why are they celebrating it?
So many true Aghoris, they have transcended death.
Some cases in which I have read articles about Aghoris practicing necrophilia. Doesn't it come under this? Can we consider Baba Keenaram as one of the top heads of Aghorism for modern India?
We feel that he is only a reincarnation. Because there is a story, we cannot go into Aghorism without telling the story of Lord Dattatreya.
When it comes to traditions or sattvic practices, using skulls or bones of other people is kind of considered very disgusting to be
like how you say a skull or something. No, these are things that we don't relish or cherish, or it is something which one can even abhor.
What can an ordinary man learn from Aghoris?
What I would say is, being a management professor and also a yoga practitioner, I'll say the path of Aghori is not for normal people. See,
Hello, Vanakkam, Vandanam, Namaste. This is your host Ashwin Sivasubramaniam and welcome to the Ashwin's Discourse by MBAyogaGuru Podcast. It's been almost a month since we did spiritual podcast, and today we are back again with a podcast related to something very mystic. What exactly is this mysticism? It's about Aghoris and their tantric practices. When I mentioned the word Aghori, many would have gotten lots and lots of questions. Probably, why are they in cremation ground? What are they actually practicing and what are their end goals? Let's deep dive into understand what truly Aghori is. And today we are joining again with Prof VKJ. Hi sir, how are you?
how are you? Good, very good day.
I'm good sir. So can we step into podcast sir?
Please, straight away.
So let's start with the basic question itself sir. Who are Aghoris?
It is a sect which got popularized from the 16th century, but they have their roots from the Kapalikas, or those, Kabbalah means the head, or that sect which used the skulls for their practices, and Kapalikas they were known, and their background starts from even at a point when Adi Shankaracharya offered himself as sacrifice and was later on saved. He had an interaction or brush with the Kapalikas. So that was dating several centuries before that.
Yes sir.
But Aghori, when you say Aghori, the word Ghor, refers to darkness.
Okay.
Or if you take the Tamil language, we'll say Ghoramar, it means terrible, dangerous.
Something terrific.
Terrific. Not terrific, terrible. Ghoram. And Ghor also means pitch dark, darkness. So when we say Aghori, it contradicts.
Yeah.
So Aghori means one who removes the darkness, or one who removes the fear, or one who makes the fearsome fearless, or have I used the right usage? Something that is very fearful, he or she can convert it into having absolutely no fear. So that is what an Aghori is.
So, such a ascetic, such a person, why are people fearing them actually?
Who will fear? In Tamil there is a saying, Madila Ganadada Vadila Bayam, which means if you are carrying some wealth and you have something with you and you have to travel, you are afraid of the bandits. So someone who has done a mistake or someone who has guilt will have fear. So Aghoris are those, it's one sect from the Shaivism, which you might say, and credit goes to in the 16th century to Baba Keenaram, who was the first Aghoracharya who established the Aghori Path in Varanasi. And but the concept of Aghorism was there. It actually starts. It's prehistoric. There's no fixed date.
Got it. So, can we consider Baba Keenaram as one of the top heads of Aghorism for modern India?
Of this millennium.
Yeah.
Of this millennium. So definitely from the 16th century you can put, and which we feel that he is only a reincarnation. We feel that it's just a coming back, the coming back of him, and that is signified in his birth. Because there is a story, we cannot go into Aghorism without telling the story of Lord Dattatreya.
Yeah.
You've heard of Lord Dattatreya. So you have...
it's a combination of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva.
Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, the three head, and you'll have 4 dogs. He has 4 dogs and he'll have a Trishul.
Yes, sir.
Looks sattvic, but can be having a very fearsome form also. It's, one to be revered very much. And who is Lord Dattatreya? He is born to Atri Maharishi and Anushya, Mata Anushya. So Atreya is also known as Dattatreya. Datta means to give away. Doesn't hold anything. Okay, to give in charity, to give knowledge, to give wealth, to give prosperity. Giver. God is always the giver.
Yeah.
So the number one giver is God. Okay, God always gives and forgives. Man gets and forgets. So Datta means to give away. Okay, and Atreya is the father's title, can be joined. And yes, in the lineage of the Saptarishis, okay, Dattatreya comes, born to Anushya. And there's a story, interesting story at that time also, where to test her chasticity, based on one of the Lord Narada's, what you call as mischief, or his mischief always comes to goodness. So he taunted and wanted to test the chasticity of Anushya. So the Trimurtis, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, came as ascetics.
Yeah.
And they said, you have to serve us. She said, yes, I will serve food for you. But they said, we have one condition. You have to serve food without any vastra. So being a chaste lady, being a Rishi Patni, and you have 3 ascetics, they said, we are very pure, we are clear. How about you? But in order for the posterity to get the right story, in order for the posterity, when they hear the story, not to get any other sort of negative thought, she with her yogic power made the Trimurtis into 3 babies. All the 3 became babies, and she served food, milk, she took care of the babies so much that now the other 3 Devis, Saraswati, Lakshmi and Ishwari, they got stuck because their husbands have to come back. So they came to Anusha Devi and they told her, and she said, what is this? Then they gave the blessings that the Amsa, that means the quality of all the Trimurtis, will be born to her as a son. And that was how Dattatreya was born. So he is actually the one, the most fearsome one, who has the qualities of the 3. And Vaishnavites may claim that he's more of an Amsam of Lord Vishnu. And of course the Saivites will say Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
But this argument, whether it is Shiva or Vishnu and this thing, we will not get into that. Because in Tamil there is a saying, Hariyam Shivanum Onnu, Ariyagavam Vaila Mannu. That means understand that Lord Shiva and Vishnu are one. It's only one.
Yes,
Ekavevadike. One. And those who don't realize this truth, okay, let them face the mud. So, coming back to this Keenaram Baba,
yes,
the interesting part is when he was born, he, as a baby, he didn't suckle milk for 3 days, would not even cry, was very, poised, serene, serious. And they were all wondering what to do, what to happen. At that time, 3 sages came. And they whispered something into the baby's ear, and then the baby became normal, like how the other babies will start behaving. So the 3 saints or the sages, it reflects the same story like the 3 hermits who came to test Mata Anusya. So they said the 3 saints would have been, they were like avaduts, they just came and they went away. So they said, so he is an incarnation.
Okay, got it.
So the same thing incarnates again and again and again. It is on a continuum.
So when you were talking about Dattatreya, usually when we see Dattatreya's form in photos or something, we can see Dattatreya has 3 heads, right? So do you really think Dattatreya would have had 3 heads, or let's say they had 3 qualities to depict that they are putting it as 3 heads in the photo?
See, normally speaking, with something of a practical logic, you might say, yes, 1 head. So the same question comes. Brahma had 4 heads.
Yeah.
Lord Kartikeya has 6 heads. And if you come to an Asura like Ravana, he had 10 heads. So people having 10 head, how will he come through this door? He has to come sideways because he can't come like this. See, the whole idea is, what is a head? A head is something like a control box. So when you say 3 heads, what does it? It signifies the Trigunas or the Sagunas, or it signifies the master of Sat, the master of Chit, and the master of Ananda. Okay, you take it that way.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to fix 3 heads. That is where the problem of the figurative and literal science and language comes in. And if we go to the other part of the story, if you want to look at the concept of really having 3 heads merge out. Have you noticed someone having a 6th finger?
Yeah.
How does it come?
Hrithik Roshan has one extra finger.
Extra finger. So if someone can have an extra finger, having an extra head, born with 3 heads, sometimes you may call them as joint twin or something. See, there are so many endless things.
Got it.
So these are detours. So when people ask these questions or these questions come into your mind, don't get caught into that question or into the logical trap. That is bounded rationality. You get caught into that trap, and then you will miss out the essence. That is how they have hid the secrets.
Okay, got it.
So to hide the secrets, you do this thing. So you get, a child is crying, so you show something, and it gets deviated. Now, scientifically speaking, if you look at the whole universe, if you look at human beings, and if you look at a lizard or you look at other creatures and other things, the possibility of having 2 heads. You can see sometimes a snake has got 2 heads. This side, we don't know which side is the main head. So the universe is so huge. So there are endless possibilities. But over here, for our understanding, for what we have experienced, you can take it that he represents the 3 murtis, the 3 qualities, and that is how it is represented as a pic, so that you first get an idea of it.
Yes, sir.
So the Ravana coming through the door, we can
actually
probably must have a big door for him, otherwise he will not be able to come. He has to move sideways. Actually, this is not my joke. I got it from Swami Dayananda Saraswati. So it was his joke where the audience laughed. I had just borrowed it.
Yes, sir. So you were also talking about how Aghoris came from the sects of Kapalika, right? So what is this Aghori's obsession with skulls? Because when it comes to traditions or sattvic practices, using skulls or bones of other people is kind of considered very disgusting, to be exact.
Grotesque, disgusting, yeah.
So why are they actually using it, and what is the exact purpose of using it? Won't they get a bowl in the market? Why use a skull as a bowl?
In Tamil, there is a word which is called as virakti.
Virakti means?
Virakti means a dislike. Then there is a word called as unaral, that means to realize. So initially, the equivalent of virakti or disgust or dislike, it's not even dislike, it's I'm disgusted, I'm not interested.
Yes, sir.
So usually what happens, anything that is dirty, anything that is like how you say a skull or something, these are things that we don't relish or cherish, or it is something which one can even abhor, feel or you feel scary, it sounds eerie.
Yeah.
Remember in the biology lab, the zoology lab in your school, when you see a full skeleton. So you don't know, first the question the kids will ask whether it's a boy or it's a man or a woman, okay? Because from the skeleton it's very difficult to find out unless you look. But you look at the skull. So this is how, what is inside you is the skull. So why the skull? The first thing is that disgust or virakti, which has to move into dispassion. So how vairagya, the next word is vairag, means dispassion.
Yeah.
Okay? But there's a beautiful, again, there's a saying in Tamil, Ulagathai veruttavan ஞானி கிடையாது. Ulagathai உணர்ந்தவன் தான் ஞானி. Meaning, one who gets disgusted with the world or one who hates the world cannot be a enlightened soul. One who understands and realizes the world completely in its full bare essence is a jnani. Now, for example, for a doctor, if he wants to know what is wrong with the body, what is wrong with the chest or the head or anything, even today with all the MRI scans and come, still the good old X-ray is used. So the X-ray shows the bones.
Yeah.
Right? So bones or the skull and the other things depict a lot about what is happening in the body. It gives a sort of understanding. Okay? Now here we are talking about something that is metaphysical or an understanding about the emotional aspects about life. For example, let us say there is passion.
Yeah.
Okay? Or let us say we don't talk about it. They say there's lust. Okay? So this is something I have heard from Swami Sivananda. He says when you want to practice Bramacharya, okay? So you look at the woman, you look at her beautiful skin, right? And then chances are that you can get enamored because the male psychology is always very fickle-minded. The female psychology is pious for certain other reasons. Now, the skull, when you see the skull or you have a skull of a female, so this was once upon a time, the truth, you see the X-ray. Once upon a time it would have been a young woman, she would have been beautiful, she would have had all her femininity. But then you look at the whole thing as it is stripped to its bare skin.
Got it.
Okay, that sensualism, you come out of it and then you see the truth. That is why they even put the ashes from the cremation. The remains of the cremation, after the cremation happens, they take those ashes and smear because ultimately this body is going to go through what we call as entropy, natural disintegration, and it will get dissolved. So why get so enamored with all these sensualities? So many true Aghoris, they have transcended sex. They have literally transcended. They don't get caught with within these boundaries. Again, the question of other emotions like anger, jealousy, the pride. Man is so powerful, the pride is there, but once you see a skull, even in a battlefield, okay, all your pride, we say the whole of human existence is reduced down to this. So you get that dispassion or you get that vairagya, and then you start asking philosophical questions.
Yes, sir.
Who am I? What is this? So that is why they use the skull, and the skull is very carefully selected. They just don't go take something. For an Aghori to select the required skull, there has to be a prompt and there has to be an approval. So that is how they very carefully select. They even say that thing has to speak to them. Yes, I am the one. So that it is, the skull is the only thing. It's called in Tamil, we call it as Tiruvod. So it is cleaned and used. And that skull is what they use for everything, drinking water or eating, putting the food and eating in that. Forever. That is probably one of their sole possessions.
Got it, sir. Actually, I had a question which I think you might have answered right now. The question was simple. Even in Hindu tradition and let's say Egyptian tradition, it said that if you are disturbing the dead, it could lead to some kind of backlash or curses. So, won't Aghoris be affected by this?
Yes, that is why I said they choose very carefully. Okay, And what in that choice, what they do, they say that the guru is also involved.
Yeah.
So an Aghori has the guru also. If not, he is an avadut. That means no, without no guru, like Dattatreya. Okay. So when they select a skull for their usage, that that respective spirit is moved on to the next dimension or to the next birth.
Okay, so they are kind of released.
They are released, and the mortal remain gets used. So because the final mortal remains, their karma or whatever was the pending thing of that particular jiva is released. So unlike the Egyptian tradition where you disturb the grave, then this happens. It's a fact. You don't disturb the grave, but unless the Aghori knows the art of doing that and releasing.
Got it.
And we can't give a scientific proof for this. It is a belief. Those who experience may speak for it. Others can.
During our conversation, you mentioned that Aghoris have transcended the phase of lust and sex, right? So why are some cases in which I have read articles about Aghoris practicing necrophilia? So doesn't it come under this?
What you say is can go against the law also. And insanity, according to modern psychology, you might say it is insane.
Yeah.
Not only that, whatever you mentioned, I think the audience may also put down some one or two questions. So,
sure.
It is also what they eat or drink. So the concept of this is to embrace the existence in all its aspects. That means they will not say no to anything. Which means even if something which is putrefied or a human remain is to be taken and consumed, they will not hesitate. That is the concept of the Aghori. They will go on for that. Or even drinking one's own urine or in lieu of water. So when that is there, they dissolve the mind, or they break down the mind, they tear down the mind in such a way that even something that is very grotesque, impossible, they say go ahead with it. But coming to the concept of the necro, whatever you mentioned, that is not done by, according to what I can infer, it is on their path to the progress.
Okay.
That means this too shall pass. So they transcend it one by one. It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. Okay. So it could be something like there's an inclination for this urge.
Got it.
So at that time, a corpse is probably floating on the river, and they make use of it. Okay, to be done with it or to go over it. It is like that. So because the mind is very complex, so every thought that comes need not get a satisfactory action or a reply. So although this has been noted, it is not anything that is mandatory for them. It's not mandatory for them to eat this, or it's not mandatory to do something like this of a night.
Got it.
But it is very complex to understand. It's not complicated, but it's complex. So you feel that they are doing it for some purpose. There's some purpose involved in it, and thereby they go ahead and do it.
Yes, sir.
Like Swami Rama and Himalayan, living with the Himalayan master. So he goes to meet an Aghori, and the Aghori pulls a bit of the corpse, the body, and he's putting it into a pot and cooking. He says, I'm going to feed you with this, and he gets scared, Swami Rama, that he's going to ask me to eat human. What is this? So then he puts the ladle and takes out in a gunna and gives him rasagulla. And Swami Rama is amazed. Rasagulla is coming. He said, while you are coming in the boat to meet me, you were imagining about rasagulla. Tell me the truth. He says, yes, how did you know?
So, the moment you mentioned this, right, I'm recalling Guru Pashpati's podcast. I heard his podcast saying that when he was living in Himalayas with Mahatma Babaji, when he craved for something interesting, the other fellow practitioners used to give like paneer butter masala or some let's say chicken curry from nothing. So probably this can we say that this is kind of universal law? They can make anything out of anything.
Similar, yeah. This is similar. There is nothing for them. They are great upasakas, great seers. So it is nothing for an Aghori to do this. I mean, one who has become a true master, who has transcended the self and the little self and understand the elements.
Yes, sir. I have one question related to Aghori, sir. The question is simple. Why are they living in cremation ground? When it comes to cremation ground, people mourn a lot there. So isn't it supposed to be kind of a place where lot of negative energies are supposed to be present? Isn't it a place where, how to say, people are completely down, but they live in that place, they use that place for their enlightenment, and they celebrate death like something. When people fear and mourn for death, why are they celebrating it?
Like some celebrate, if you look at the different subcultures within India, there's one sect which celebrates. They have the para, the mola, and they will be dancing. They'll be fully drunk, blissed out, dancing, kuttu, and they will be going to the cremation ground. Another segment you will have there where there will be the sangha, and they will be, going in a very serious way. Some don't use that. So there are different belief systems. But coming to a cremation ground, it is where the rich and the poor, the very old and the old, or somewhat old, or even the young, they all finally come over there. So yes, there is sorrow, there is relief. Let us say there's an old man, he didn't die for a very long time, they were giving a lot of medical treatment to him, and finally he died. How happy the family members are. Okay, so that they'll be very happy that it is over now. Now we don't have to take care. So that particular ground, the burial ground or the cremation ground, is a place for the release. So there is a huge release that happens. And to make a correction, Aghoris don't always live in the cremation ground. They visit, they make use part, they can even stay over there, but you don't know where they are, the true Aghoris. They can be living in a cave, on a mountainside, in a forest, different places. It's not that they always occupy the cremation. But it's one of the phases through which they go.
Got it, sir.
And you should also know that in the Hindu cremation ground, I should mention this, there is one sentry in that cremation ground. And that is an Amsa or a version of King Harishchandra. So if I don't mention about King Harishchandra, I will be making a big lapse over here. So Harishchandra was a king. No matter what happened to him, whatever difficulty came, he would not tell a lie. Even Brahmarishi Vishwamitra tried to make him tell a lie. He said no. So he goes to the end of everything, but doesn't tell a lie. So he is the guardian of the cremation ground. He is a king. Okay, he guards. And finally, because of his sat, his truth, he's given that post, but he's also given the kingdom. He's given back his children and his wife, and he comes back to rule. But then his version of a guard, the truth. So always what will happen, sometimes a body dies, but then they find that it's not a full rigor mortis. There's a reverse rigor mortis happens, and the person comes back to life. So by that time, if the body has crossed that Harishchandra point, they will not allow that person back into the family. He or she will have to live separately as a recluse. Because if you cross that point, then you are the body which is crossing that point means it's fully dead. It's crossed. So it shouldn't come back. So Harishchandra was such a great emperor king, and these are very great, Hindu mythology. It's not a mythological story. He belongs to the same Vamsh where Sri Rama comes. The same. Yes. Definitely the same. Don't get caught in whether it's a Chandra Vamsam or Surya Vamsam and all that. These are all celestial Vamsams. Okay, let you fix it in whichever way you want. I will not get caught into those traps. But the essence, the truth, you have to take the cream. You take the essence. And so, how did we come into this?
We are talking about cremation grounds. Why are they celebrating?
Why? So Aghoris, they don't permanently live over there, but they make use of it. So, other than what we can say is, you get a sort of at least a satori, a temporary enlightenment when you visit a cremation ground. That's the idea.
Sir, when it comes to Aghori Varanasi, we all know about the place called Manikarnika Ghat. Do you know this significance and spiritual?
You know something, so you can tell.
No, sir. Actually,
what is that?
Only thing I know about is that it's a 24/7.
There are two ghats, one big one and the smaller one.
Yeah, it's kind of a 24/7 cremation ground, and when people usually go and visit Manikarnika Ghat, people say don't go and visit at night, especially post 9 o'clock or something. I'm not exactly sure why it's being.
Go to the ghat if you have a purpose. It is not just to visit. So what it is, some tourist spot or something? No, it's not.
But it's being treated like one.
No, don't do that. You have a purpose. You have a question. You want to meet an Aghori, or you have a purpose, or some relative wanted to be cremated over there. So without a purpose, why do you want to go over there? It is not. These are not matters to fun. A lab is not for fun.
Yeah.
While you are doing a serious experiment, you may have some fun or laughter. I'm not saying there should not be humor, but have a purpose. So for a question, a purpose to give the final rites for a relative who had that desire to go in Varanasi, then yes, you visit the ghat. Some relative or friend or something, then you go. Just like that, you want to go. This is even an investigative journalist has a purpose to bring something. So some are very vague, just like tourists. They think it's some tourist spot. Oh no, you go there like that so vague, you'll get beaten by the Aghoris. They'll chase you.
Actually, I've seen a lot of videos of people going and visiting Manikarnika Ghat and putting vlogs, saying that this is the place where they don't exactly show what exactly is happening. They show that place called written Manikarnika Ghat, and they go in.
They show the corpses are burning, and they show that. They want to take a vlog. They want to show that they are part of a system over there. And,
So when it comes to Aghoris, Manikarnika Ghat is one of the common names which we have been hearing, right? So is there some kind of spiritual significance why Aghoris come and sit there, meditate, celebrate death, probably prefer to stay there?
Yeah, I got it. See, it's a long story short, we'll make it. Shiva's consort, she lost one of her earrings, and they could not locate it, and this is how the story goes. So Shiva's wrath, where it was lost in that particular ghat or the forest place, he just reduced it to ashes, so that you can find the Manikarnika. That means the
Jhumka.
The Jhumka, yeah. What was that? Now this is the folklore story. But how you should understand is that the ghat is a place where you may come over there to hear the sound. So when you say Manikarnika, that means what sounds you can hear. Okay, there is something called as a shrod, what you hear. Okay, so these are divine sounds. So you should understand that from sound comes forth light.
Yeah.
Okay, sound is a vibration. So even Tesla says, understand the universe as energy, pattern, and vibration. So sound is a vibration. So when you say Manikarnika, it gives a certain vibrations. So you can get, so that is how the story goes. That means the Holy Mother, what she did, she lost her hearing, so that this process may happen. I mean, the story may sound a little bit odd, but you take it as a cone, Kaon. Okay, there's a hidden meaning inside the story. So you give up something in order to gain something. So she was ready to give her hearing. Okay, lose it. And in the process of finding it, so much of other things of the Ghat was destroyed by the Shiva's, instead of saying Ra, it was his dispassion. He said, okay, let it go. But then it was found. The money, karnika. So in Tamil you can say karnika means the sole reason, karana, karnika. So when you say money, it means the bell. Bell means sound. Sound here. So you get to hear the divine sound. In one of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, there is one of the sutra which says Purush Divya Shrot. It is how you can hear things which others can't hear.
Okay.
It cultivates. So, in other words, you will get jnana.
Enlightenment.
You will start when you come over there. That means a relative passes away, then you come over there, then you say, what is this? It is not to hate life, but to realize life.
To accept it.
Yes. So that's how. So that is why they put the ash also on themselves.
Yes, sir. So we are talking about cremation ground right now. There has always been one single question which comes to my mind, because when the rituals post death happens, usually Hindus prefer like burning of the body, and other religions prefer like burial of the body. What do you think is actually good?
Oh, cremation or burial?
Yeah.
See, that's a wonderful, very good question, in depth. Which is good, they say. So to cremate means to burn. To bury. In Hindu tradition, down south in Tamil Nadu, if you take, we have a very great Saivite saint, Vallal Perumal. He was also called Ramalinga Swami. He did not advocate cremation. He said, don't burn the body, because he didn't want to give discomfort or a difficulty to any living organism that could be even the yeast inside the body. The body is made up of so many bacteria, yeast, candida, this and that. Okay, there are many things which go on to finally deteriorate the body. So he said, if you burn the body, then millions of these creatures, these things are going to be killed in the fire. So he said, don't burn, bury it. So those who bury it are trying to give that importance to all those creatures living in the human body. But the concept of cremation means we consume it into fire. That means here they say ultimately everything is going to die.
Yeah.
So if you take an antibiotic, these bacteria are going to die. The yeast is going to die ultimately. It's not going to live long.
Exactly.
So along with this person we are cremating, so you also go. Join. Means all of them are freed. That means even the bacteria and all those things get freed in a cremation. So these are two different belief systems. Okay. So the burial is a delayed process. Cremation is a chatpat process, instant process.
Yeah.
So these are the two things. And before I forget, they put the ashes on the body. You know why they put this? See, when they live off the land, you will have a centipede, you will have ants, you will have other things. So when this ash, which is primarily calcium, when it's applied to the entire body, it makes you something like almost insect proof.
Okay, this is very new information.
Yes, it makes you insect proof. That means an ant or other centipede or other things will stay away from you. Because it is a burnt thing, so they are afraid of fire.
Yeah.
Wild animals are afraid of fire. So they know deep within their DNA, their memory, they know what is fire and they know the smell of ash. So if there's a smell of ash, these things will not come here.
Got it.
So cremation has its plus, it has its other points to consider also.
So it totally comes to belief of the people.
It comes to what you, more than saying belief of your people, what is that you practice? Because one practices what they believe in.
Yeah.
So practice is the kinetic form of a belief which is potential.
Yes, sir. So the next question is, we are doing this podcast for primarily ordinary audiences to come to know about these topics which are meant to be known to the world. So, just in case some Aghori is actually watching this podcast, what do you think he would like to...
Maybe they are watching. So
yeah.
Okay.
What do you think they would want through us the world should know?
What would they want? An Aghori is, to the best of my knowledge, he doesn't want anything. Nothing. There's a brand called Nothing.
Yeah.
Just come. So they don't expect anything from you. They want nothing because they know everything will be taken care of. Because the moment you say they want something, or you're bringing down an Aghori to the level of human existence.
So let me.
They have no wants. They have no needs or wants. They live. They are not bound. So if you ask them what do you want, they'll say just don't talk with me, get lost. It's something like what Alexander went to meet one of his half brothers who was in the forest, or I think some great king. There are different versions of the story. So he was just lying down like that. He said, I'm an emperor, I want to do something for you. Tell me what you want. Oh yeah, you want to do something, can you please move a little bit? Why? Because I am enjoying the sunlight, bloody hell, you are coming and blocking it. Get lost. So yeah.
Let me put it in this way, sir.
They will not want, if they are watching the podcast, I'm sure if there's something that they want, it will happen. See, you need to understand that the Shaktas, the Shakti Upasakas, the Shaktas or these sects, it is a very ancient part, and Aghori is one this thing. So these were the people occupying the Dravidian Peninsula or the north side. And these were people who were terrible people. Probably that is one reason, because they had mystical powers, they had so many things that even Genghis Khan did not attack India. Why others did? Then you can ask the question, what happened when Babur came and where did the Aghoris go?
Yeah.
Probably they were taking time to cool off, or they were allowing this process to happen. Who knows?
Yes, sir.
I may have deviated a bit, but I think you can.
No, I want to ask this question in a different way. Let me say, what can an ordinary man learn from Aghoris?
What I would say is, being a management professor and also a yoga practitioner, I'll say the path of Aghori is not for normal people. See, I would follow what Vedatri Maharishi also says, vairagya valamuda. That means life is there to live life king size, full size. Live in peace, harmony, across boundaries, across borders. Okay? That's what Vallal Perumal also says, Ella uyirum immuttu vaazhu. It means let goodness prevail.
Got it.
Okay? Let there be, goodness throughout. So, considering that factor, what is the good thing that you can take from an Aghori Baba is have the fear of God.
Okay.
The fear for dharma, the fear of God. So when you have the fear of God, they say it's the beginning of wisdom, because the fear is not something negative. I want you to know that Stephen P. Robbins, in his book, he says the stages of moral development, the first stage for moral development is pain or fear. So when you see an Aghori Baba, you should know that they go through pain.
Yeah.
They have transcended fear. Okay? So fear, have that fear that you should not do anything wrong, bad.
Yes.
Don't harm others. Okay? Live in harmony.
Got it, sir. Sir, so if this is what we want people to learn, probably
that is the essence of even an Aghori Baba.
But aren't they trying to overcome fear itself? Because what I felt was what people usually fear, they are doing it to overcome the fear completely. Aren't they breaking the fear and trying to aim something more than fear?
Aim something more than fear? I don't get it.
If fear is the beginning of wisdom, and they are breaking the whole concept of fear itself by probably experiencing it personally.
For themselves.
Yeah.
For themselves. But initially, when one starts, you can see some of the YouTube interviews where there's a person, he says, I'm an Aghori, but he's in pant and shirt. Okay, there are many forms are there. So even they go through fear. It is not that you don't just jump outside of all the emotions. You go through it. So they are not trying to remove the fear from the planet, nothing like that. Let things be there. You know, let things be there. Let the fear be there. But realize the fear, and once you get the truth, once you understand the truth, then the fear goes. The fear goes once you see the truth. Even the Holy Bible says that. Okay? Truth shall set you free. Free from what? Even from the fear. So they face the truth through that way. There are different ways to reach the truth.
Yes.
So Aghori Path is one of the way, but I wouldn't, what shall I say, tell somebody, you know, to live off the land, to leave your, you know, you can learn those practices, but you can make a synthesis of both. It is possible. You don't have to, because parents should not get worried that, you know, I'm telling the students, you know, to take a way to Agore. No. Learn the ways, learn the good things. So the good things are the practices that you can go towards finding the truth, become fearless by understanding fear.
Got it, sir. When you were saying that they are like kind of more than fear, one thing came into my mind. It might be humorous, but you know that Mountain Dew's tagline, "Dar ki aage jeet hai." So dar ki aage truth hai. Can we take it like that?
Yeah, okay. Dar ki aage, the truth is there. So when you face the truth, what is there to fear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fear is just a feeling. It's like you feel hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, you are feeling hunger, you are feeling heat. So you feel fear. So you feel the churning in the stomach, mainly in the Manipura chakra. That's where you feel fear of exams.
Yes, sir. So I have one final question regarding the Aghoris. Why is there actually Aghori Path? Because there are a lot of sattvic paths. Why is there a need for such a path where they have to tolerate so much pain? They have to tolerate, they have to accept sorrow. So even when they can achieve it through sattvic path also, why are they taking something totally different? Why is there a need itself?
Okay. Like I said, it is not mandatory to follow this path. Okay, some can take nama japa, some can take other rituals, some can go into atma vichara. See, one thing it is, you need to understand that there is a little bit of everything in everything.
What is it?
There's a little bit of everything in everything. Now, for example, if you say the Sattvika path, the path of just saying Sri Rama Jayam, Rama Jayam, Rama Jayam, Sri Rama Jayam, or saying Rama Rama, Rama Rama. Okay. Now, if you look at this, the Sattvik part, is there an Aghoriness in the Sattvik part? You say, no, there isn't.
No.
We eat vegetables, some become vegans also, they don't even take curd because it has yeast. There's a pure Sattvik part, yes. But then to transcend the mind, here is one incident which I recollect about Mata Krishna Bai. You can see her, I hope you can put her picture also. Mata Krishna Bai is from Kanyangarh Ashram, okay, from the Vision Journal. So she says once after serving everybody, all the food, all the prasadam was distributed and she was feeling so hungry and she did not know what to eat. So she was thinking, she was praying. Oh Lord, I don't have anything to eat, so if there's some prasadam for me, it will be nice little bit. So at that time, one of the ashramite dog came over there. It just vomited the food.
Yes, sir.
She took it as prasad.
Oh.
Now what would you say? Or if you want to put Aghorism towards only Saivism and you want to give Dattatreya only the Shiva component and have nothing of the Vishnu, I will say getting a lion-faced thing coming and sitting and putting a Asura on your thigh and tearing and taking his intestines and putting it as your mala. Narasimha Avatar. Is there anything more Aghoram than this? Where everyone were shitting bricks to even go near him. Only Prahalada could go.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So, don't get caught, like you mentioned Guru Pasupati, I'm with him in this. Don't get caught in the what he says. What is that nice? He says, what? Thames Nadi education. So, hats off to him for that. It's a great way. In a very simple way, natural or simple phrase like po to watch fulla. It's like 7 stones. Once we used to play, as kids. You play that one shot, all the 7 stones go away. This is Thames Nadi education. So don't get caught in that. I'm saying don't decry that at the same time. Means you do need that.
Take some parts out of it.
Take what is needed. Take what is, but know that you should not be misled. So that's a really very good thing. That means don't forget your roots.
Yes, sir.
But there are certain good things which science has brought in. Modern science has brought in. You have an aeroplane, you have a computer, you have a laptop, you have this podcast. It is science that has brought in this. Everyone cannot sit and just meditate and go through using their third eye and then converse. It is not like what it was happening thousands of years ago. It doesn't work that way. So now these things have come. So we will take this. What we should do is try to create a synthesis. Yeah, that's thing. So I mentioned about that. There's about Baba Keenaram. There are 2 versions. So if you try to search, one version is that he lived for up to 170 years.
Yeah.
And he said the 11th head of the peak, that what do you call that? Aghora. So he will again come back. Another version says no, he went away very fast. He took samadhi very fast. So we will not go into that charcha of that argument. But he is considered to be that, and I would be failing in my duty if I don't mention about the Mata, Devi. Okay? Without Devi's grace, nothing is possible.
Yeah.
So, Hingalaj Devi, supposed to be the 51st or 52nd head of Sati, when she was strewed across. So, where is this temple? The temple of Hingalaj Devi, who graced and who helped in the life of Baba Keenaram, and who lives with him also in the same Cream Kund.
In Varanasi.
Cream Kund. Okay? So where he has written 4 other books are there, those list of the books can be put over here. What I wanted to say was the temple of this Mata is actually in the present Pakistan, in Balochistan.
Oh.
It is one of the volcanic mountains, so where Hindus and Muslims take part in the, the yatra over there.
That's a beautiful.
So there's a unity over there of Hindu and Muslims who, in that Balochistan temple, they go to visit Mata's temple.
In the tensions of war right now.
Yes. So I thought if I have to mention this, that this was Akhanda Bhumi Bharat was one big region. Now I hope things settle down and
yes, sir.
The grace of the Almighty God may penetrate soon into all our bhejas and may good sense prevail.
Sure, definitely. So, thank you guys. This was our podcast on Aghoris. If you have a lot of questions that came to your mind while asking, don't hesitate to comment on us, and we will definitely be able to answer to you. Bye.